Hi, students. Good afternoon. Please let us wait for 5 more minutes because I'm expecting more people to join. Kindly share the link to your fellow classmates and ask them to join. Let us wait for 5 more minutes as I expect more people to join. attention is captured, what is the interest that is sustained, and how decisions are made. Funnel thinking emphasizes process over isolated actions. Funnels are applicable beyond the commerce. Educational institutions use funnels to guide the learners from awareness of programs until enrollment. From the starting stage, awareness, until the end stage, until they enroll onto the website, onto the course, is the journey. Social organizations use funnels to move the individuals from awareness to participation. Now, let us see few examples. A student discovering a course or exploring details and enrolling, a user learning about a cause and signing up as a volunteer, a visitor researching a service before making contact. These are three very common examples in funnel building. Now I have explained to you the concept of funnel building. Now let us see what are the stages of funnels. The digital marketing funnel is commonly divided into stages such as the awareness stage, the consideration stage, and the conversion stage. Each stage reflects a different level of user readiness and information needed. Understanding these stages help in designing appropriate content and interactions. During the awareness stage, the users seek general information. At the consideration stage, they compare options and seek for clarity. And at the conversion stage, they evaluate the trust and ease of action. Advanced funnel analysis recognizes that users may move back and forth between different stages. Effective funnel design respects the user's autonomy and avoids forced progression. Few examples for this is an awareness through informational content, consideration through comparison and explanations, and conversion through clear calls to action. Now, students, let me break it down for you, whatever I have explained, whatever I have read, in simple, make it more explainable for you. What is funnel building? Funnel building means designing a structured journey that moves a user from the awareness stage to the conversion stage. Instead of doing some kind of a random marketing, we are going to create a planned pathway. Instead of just doing some kind of a random marketing, some kind of a random digital marketing, we are going to create a planned pathway. So that is the meaning of funnel. That is the meaning of funnel building. Instead of doing random marketing, we are going to design and create a planned pathway for the customer. Now, there are three main stages in this funnel building. The first stage, which is the top of the funnel, is called as the awareness stage. Now, what happens during this stage? The users don't know you yet. So, what is the goal of this stage? The main goal of this stage is to attract the attention of the customer, is to attract the attention of the user. The second goal is to provide the value to the user. And the third goal is to educate the user. So these three are the main goals in the top of the funnel, which is called as the awareness stage. Now let us see, how do you do this? How do you create an awareness? Option 1 is blog posts. You prepare a blog post and you post it on your website that can educate the customer about your product or your service or whatever you're trying to sell. The second is social media content. You create content for social media. That is another way to reach a wide audience and to create awareness. The third option is YouTube videos. That is another way to create content, is creating original videos on YouTube. And finally, the fourth type to create awareness is to do search engine optimization, which is basically Google, marketing on Google. So the main focus of this first stage, which is the awareness stage, is to bring and build traffic and awareness. So that is the first stage of the funnel building, the top of the funnel, which is the awareness stage. Now let us see the second stage of the funnel. This is the middle of the funnel. And the name of this stage is called the consideration stage. Now, what happens during this stage? The users know something about you. So, what happens when they know something about you? They start to compare for options. They start to compare you with other competitions. For example, if you want to buy a phone or if you want to buy a car, immediately the user, the customer compares you with other option. They will compare you to another company who is selling a phone or a car or whatever it is. It can be a product or it can be a service. So once they know something about you in this stage, in the middle of the funnel, they start to consider. That is why it is called the consideration stage. So the main goal of this consideration stage is to build the trust among the audience, is to build the trust of the customers, is to build the trust of the users. You need to show the benefits and build the trust. These two are very important goals in this stage, in the second stage, in the middle of the funnel stage. So, how do you build the trust? How do you show benefits? You can create free ebooks. You can contact webinars, information about the content, people speaking about the content, people explaining about the content, about your product, about your service, about the industry, whatever it is, but it needs to be related to whatever you are selling. Third is case studies. You can research and do a lot of case studies. And the fourth option is the most common and prominent used option is email marketing. You can send advertising and promotional messages to your customers via the email. So the main focus of this second stage is for engagement and lead generation. You're supposed to engage with the audience. You're supposed to engage with the customer. So that is the main important focus of this second stage, which is the consideration stage. Now, the third stage of the funnel, which is called the bottom of the funnel, the conversion stage, is the last stage of the funnel. What happens during this stage? The users are ready to decide. In this stage, they make the decision. They are ready to decide whether to buy a product or to not buy a product. So, what is the goal during this stage? The goal of this stage is to convert the audience, remove any kind of an objection, whatever is distracting them, remove any kind of an objection. And the third option is to offer clear action to them, make them buy, make them join the course, make them enroll into a course, make them purchase it, buy now, join now, all those buttons you see in the website. So that is the goal of marketers to do during the third stage of the funnel, which is the last stage, the bottom of the stage of the funnel is called as the conversion stage. So how do you do this? How do you convert? By giving the customers free trial version, by giving the customers a good amount of discount, and by adding limited time offer. All of these three examples are very important to convert the customer into purchasing a product. So the main focus of doing is sales and conversion. The main focus of this stage is sales and conversions. Now let us try to understand why funnel building matters. Why you should do funnel building? Why digital marketers and brands should do funnel building? Because without funnel, you will have to deal with random traffic, low conversion, and no strategy. But if you implement the funnel strategy, if you implement with funnel, you are able to have a structured journey, a higher trust among the audience. And because you have higher trust among the audience, you are able to have higher conversions. So that is why it is very important to do funnel building in digital marketing. So, students, I have explained to you what is funnel building, what are the different stages of funnel building, and why funnel building matters. Now, I am going to give you all a 2 to 3 minutes reflection exercise. Sit back and reflect in whatever I have taught you in this topic, funnel building. Try to understand, and I have the notes in front of you. Please take down notes wherever it is necessary. And once you are done with taking down notes for this topic, we shall continue with the next topic. Please take notes. Now let us get to the next topic, which is user journey mapping and funnel design. Let us try to understand what is user journey mapping. User journey mapping involves documenting the steps users take while interacting with digital platforms. This process includes identifying the touch points, identifying the emotions, and the decision barriers. Journey mapping supports thoughtful funnel design. Funnel design must align with real user behavior rather than assumptions. Overly complex funnels often result in disengagement. Simplicity and clarity support smoother progression. Now, mapping the user journeys allows organization to identify the gaps between the intention and the experience. For example, mapping the enrollment steps for an online course, documenting the navigation paths on a website, and identifying the points of confusion or delay. Let me break this down to you whatever I have read and explain it to you, students. What is user journey mapping? User journey mapping means visually mapping the step by step experience a customer goes through before, during, and after a purchase. It focuses on what the users think, what the users feel, what are the users doing in your website, and where do they struggle. So, you're going to map the step by step experience a customer goes through in your website. So, this part, which is called the user journey mapping, is about understanding the human side of marketing. Is to understand the human side of marketing, to understand the customer side, to understand the customer's experience and the customer's behavior. Now, let us see why the user journey mapping is very important. Because if you don't understand the user's journey, you cannot design the funnel. Only if you understand the journey, you can design the funnel. So that is why it is very important to understand the journey, which will then help you in designing the funnel. So, what will you be able to understand? What are the details? What are the insights you will be able to understand when you perform journey mapping? You will be able to identify the pain points. You will be able to understand the emotions of the customer. You will be able to remove the friction, and you will be able to improve the overall experience. And because of doing all of these points, because of identifying all of these points, you will be able to convert the customer. So that is why it is very important to do user journey mapping. So there are 5 stages in user journey mapping. The first one is the awareness stage. The second one is the interest stage. The third one is the consideration stage. The fourth one is the decision making stage. And the fifth one is the post purchase stage. Let me tell you one by one and explain all of these 5 stages. The first stage is the awareness stage. So, what is the emotion that happens during the awareness stage? The emotion of the customer is he is very curious during this stage. He is very interesting when he's very interested when he saw your advertisement first. So he's very curious. He wants to know more about this, about your product, about your service. So this first stage is called the awareness stage. Now the second stage is called as the interest stage. The users visit the website. The customer becomes very interested, but also they are very cautious. So that happens during the second stage. The customer is very interested. Because of that, he is very cautious. Now, the third stage of this process is called the consideration stage. During this stage, the user reads the reviews. So, the emotion that is running during this stage is he is very hopeful, plus he is in doubt. The user starts to read all of the reviews during this stage. So, what happens when he reads the reviews? He starts to consider, and that creates a doubt in the customer. So, that is the main point that happens during the third stage, which is the consideration stage. Now, the fourth stage is decision making stage. The users began to compare the prices. What will he compare? He will check if it is affordable. He will try to re-evaluate all of the risks that is there, and he will also check if it's affordable. So during this stage, he begins to make decision. That is why it is called the decision making stage. And the final stage of the journey mapping is the post purchase stage. In this stage, you are already purchased a product or a service. So the only thought that comes inside the customer during this stage is whether he has made a good decision or whether he has made a bad decision. So in this stage, either he is very excited or he is very regretful. There are only two emotions that he can feel during this stage. So funnel design means structuring the marketing touchpoints to guide the users smoothly through their journey until they get converted into customer, until they get customer, until they get converted as a client. So this whole journey, you are going to design a funnel. The journey mapping focuses on the user's perspective, but the funnel design focuses on the business strategy. That is the difference between journey mapping and funnel design. The journey mapping focuses on user's perspective, and the funnel design focuses on business strategy. So, students, I hope you understood what is the user journey mapping and funnel design. I hope you understood the concept of journey mapping and funnel design. So, I'm going to give you a reflection exercise now. Please sit back and reflect and think and understand what I have taught you about this topic. And I have the notes front of me. Please take down notes. Once you are done taking down the notes for this topic, then we shall continue with the next topic. So please take down notes. to identify the competition in digital environments. Competitors in digital spaces may differ from traditional competitors. They include any platform competing for user attention and search visibility. Identifying competitors requires an understanding of user intent and search behavior. Competitors may vary by context. An educational site may compete with blogs. They can even compete with video platforms or even institutional websites. Recognition of indirect competition is very essential for realistic analysis. So let us see few examples in that. Online learning platforms, informational blogs, and resource sharing websites. Now let us try to understand analyzing competitor content and structure. Content analysis focuses on themes, depth, organization, and clarity. Structural analysis examines the navigation, the internal linking, and the overall presentation. Together, these analyses reveal how competitors meet user needs. Students should evaluate not only what the content exists, but also how it is presented and updated. Quality and relevance are very key evaluation criteria. So the analysis should remain descriptive and analytical rather than the judgmental. Now let me break down to you whatever I have explained about competition SEO analysis. What is competition SEO analysis? Competition SEO analysis means studying your competitor's website to understand why they rank higher and how you can outperform them. It is not about copying. It is not about copying or any kind of a thing at all. It is more about learning from what is already working. So you are not copying by doing competition SEO analysis. You are only going to study and you are only going to learn from your competition. That is the whole point of doing competition SEO analysis. Now let us see and try to understand why it is important to do competition SEO analysis. Now, instead of guessing the keywords, instead of guessing the content, we can go to our competition and try to understand and study our competition and know what is working and what is not working. So, that is the main goal and focus of doing competition SEO analysis. You go to your competition's website, you study and learn from them. What you will understand is what is working and what is not working. So, by understanding that, you can come back to your own brand or company and you can implement that. That's all. So, this helps you to identify the opportunities. You will also be able to discover what are the strong keywords. You will also be able to understand what is the content strategy. What are all these that your competition company is doing, and you can take that, learn, study, and utilize that and improve your own brand and your own website. So you have understood why do we do competition SEO analysis just now. Now I will explain to you what are we going to analyze in detail when you are doing competition SEO analysis. Now you have already known why we are doing it, because we want to study and learn from our competition and implement it for our brand. But now what I'm going to explain to you is what are we going to study and what are we going to analyze. The first type of analysis is keyword analysis. Now, by doing keyword analysis, we will be able to find which are the keywords that are working for your competition. What are the high volume keywords that are driving the traffic? What is the low competition keywords that is driving the traffic? And what is the long tail keywords that is driving the traffic? So you will be able to understand and study all of this if you perform keyword analysis from your competition's website. Now let us see the next type of analysis, which is called the content analysis. So, what are we going to study from our competition by doing content analysis? We will be able to study the blog topics. We will also be able to study the content length. We will also be able to study how do they use headings, where are the headings in their website, how does it work, how short it is, how long it is. All of this we will be able to study. The use of images and videos, how did they use the images and videos? What are the facts that is included? What are the FAQs that is included in their website? And what are the internal links that they have posted in their website? So, in the overall idea of performing this content analysis is to understand why is my competition's content working well. So by understanding and studying that, you can come and make the changes and implement it in your own website and in your own brand. The next type of analysis is backlink analysis. Backlinks mean links from other websites. Now, Google considers backlinks as a trust signals. So, what does this analyzes? It can analyze how many backlinks are inside. We must go to our competition website and see how many backlinks they have kept. From which website are those backlinks? And next, we must also try to understand are they from high authority websites? So, these three are very important when we are trying to analyze the backlinks from our competition. So, more quality backlinks means higher ranking potential. So, that also must be done when you are doing backlink analysis. Now, the next type of analysis is technical SEO analysis. Now, the main check of doing this analysis is to identify what is the page speed of your competition website. Is it loading fast, or is it loading slowly? Is it responsive? Mobile friendliness, is it working well in the mobile? Is it nice and intuitive interface? Is it working perfectly for the mobile when you're viewing from mobile? Is the url structure working perfectly? Are the meta titles and meta descriptions working very perfectly? And what is the site architecture? Everything is perfect. All of these technical analysis need to be performed, even though if it is very detailed. All these very small technical improvements can overall improve the whole ranking of your website. So these are the 5 analysis that you can perform when you are going to your competition's website and when you are performing competition SEO analysis. So students, now I am going to give you a reflection exercise. I have the notes in front of me. Please take some time, about 2 to 5 minutes. Try to understand what I have taught to you, what I have explained to you about competition SEO analysis, how you can do. I have the notes in front of me. Please take down notes. Please take down whenever it is necessary, because all these terminologies are very important for you to understand the foundations of digital marketing. So please go ahead and take notes. And when you all are done taking notes, we shall move to the next topic. Okay, students, now let us get to the next topic: ethical and strategic considerations. Ethical funnel building avoids manipulation and respects the user's choice. Competitive analysis should inform improvement rather than encouraging copying. Transparency and originality are essential for sustainable practice. Strategic thinking involves long term planning rather than short term gains. Ethical strategies build the trust and the credibility, so students should develop critical judgment when they are applying competitive insights. For example, the creation of original content, respecting the intellectual property, and prioritizing the user's benefit. Now, students, whatever I have read just now, I am going to break it down for you and make you all understand in a more simpler way. Now, let us see the ethical work. In digital marketing, you can grow fast, but the question is, how are you growing? Because there are two things that help you grow: ethics protects your brand, and strategy protects your growth. Both must work together. Only then you can take your brand to better and higher heights. Now let us see about ethics point of view. What does ethical mean in digital marketing? Ethical marketing means growing your business without misleading, without manipulating or harming others. Now this includes being very honest to your customers, being very transparent to your customers, respecting your customers' privacy, and applying and doing a very fair competition among your competition and competitors. So these are the points that means ethical digital marketing. Now we have discussed what are the ethical works. Now let us see what are the common unethical practices. Fake reviews. Fake reviews is a very common and prominent example that everybody knows. Posting fake reviews, posting false testimonials, false opinions, all of these come under unethical practices. So please do not implement fake reviews. The next unethical practice is keyword stuffing. Overloading your content with keywords unnaturally, overloading the keywords, putting too many keywords, unnecessary keywords unnaturally, which is called as keyword stuffing. This is a major unethical practice. So do not implement keyword stuffing. The next practice is plagiarism. Now, this is also very important. Plagiarism means copying. You are copying from your competition. That is a very bad and unethical process. So please do not implement plagiarism. The next unethical practice is clickbait titles. What is clickbait? You are misleading the audience by adding misleading headlines just to attract clicks. The headlines has nothing to do with the content inside. That is called as clickbait. So please avoid clickbait titles. Data privacy and consent. With data collection, emails, cookies, tracking, it is very important you maintain the data privacy and the consent of the customers, because ethical marketers must clearly inform the users, get the consent from the users, protect the data of the users very securely, and avoid selling data without any kind of permission. These are very, very important factors that brands and digital marketers need to follow, because only when you follow this, you will gain the trust of the audience. It is very important to gain the trust of the audience, because trust is more valuable than traffic. So please make sure you gain the trust of the audience. So, students, I hope you understood what is the ethics that we were talking about. We discussed about what are the ethical practices and what are the unethical practices that you shouldn't follow. So, I hope you understood about the ethics part of it of today's chapter. I'm going to give you a reflection exercise now. All of you take down notes. I have it in front of me. Please take down whatever we have discussed about the ethics. Once you finish taking down the ethics, we shall move to the next topic, which is called the strategic considerations. So please take down notes. decisions that align with the business goals. So let us see what does that mean. So there is a long term versus short term growth. So there are two types of strategies. One is your short term strategy and the other is your long term strategy. In your short term strategy, digital marketers implement aggressive advertisements, heavy discounts, and a lot of clickbaits. Whereas the long term strategy is about brand building, SEO authority, customer loyalty, and quality content. That is why it is very important to have a balance of both short term and long term. Smart businesses balance both strategies. Now let us try to understand and see how do you do resource allocation. What you need to ask yourself before implementing a digital marketing strategy: where should the budget go? Should it go on SEO or should it go on paid ads? Should I allocate the budget for content marketing or should I allocate it for influencer marketing? Or should I optimize it for funnel optimization or should I allocate my budget for traffic growth? So these are the questions you're supposed to ask yourself when before you go ahead and implement a digital marketing campaign, because strategy requires prioritization. So prioritize a strategy and then go ahead and implement it. Now let us see risk management. To avoid risks for your brand and brand's website and product, either it is a product or service, please avoid black hat SEO works. Remember previously in the previous part we spoke about black hat SEO and white hat SEO, your ethical SEO process and practices and unethical practices. Black hat SEO means unethical practices. So please avoid any kind of black hat SEO. Do not implement fake backlinks and never ever implement manipulative tactics, because Google will penalize unethical behavior. So please do not implement any kind of a unethical work, because that will overall increase the whole risk for your business. So think about future consequences. Strategic thinking considers future consequences. Now let us discuss and see what is brand reputation management. Reputation impacts your conversion rate, customer lifetime value, and referral traffic. Whereas strategic brands, they respond to reviews, they address all of the complaints from the customer, and they also maintain the consistency of the customer. So reputation impacts the conversion rate. So it is very important for you to have a good reputation for your brand. So that is why you need to balance ethics and strategy. I will tell you one powerful idea. Ethical marketing builds the trust of the brand. Strategic marketing builds the growth of the brand. So it's important for you to sustain on both these types. So the correct balance needs to be of ethics, and the correct balance you need to implement on strategy. Because without ethics, the brand will collapse, and without strategy, your brand won't grow. So it is important to blend both. So students, today we have discussed in chapter 6 about digital funnels. What is a digital funnel? How do you design a digital funnel? We have discussed. We have also discussed what is user journey. How do you do user journey mapping? That also we discussed. We also discussed about competition SEO analysis. How do you do competition SEO analysis? That also we discussed. What are the touch points? That also we discussed. And what are the different stages of funnel, and all of those stages we have discussed. So these are the key terminologies that you need to recollect. Please take down notes of these five key terminologies that we have discussed today, as this will be very beneficial for you to understand the overall foundation of digital marketing. And when you are done with taking notes for the next 4 to 5 minutes, we shall move on to the last part, to the last check of today's session, where I will go through whatever we have discussed today like a crash course. So please take down this journey of the funnel journey, user journey, and all of these stages, these key terminologies. And once you're done taking down notes, we shall get to the last part of today's session. Okay, students, now let us see. We have got to the last part of today's session. I am going to take you down through whatever we discussed today in chapter 6. In search engine optimization, we discussed about use white hat practices. Do not use any unethical practices. Use only ethical SEO practices. The next point, create original content. Create original content for social media as well as YouTube. Do not copy or steal from your competition. The third point is earn backlinks naturally. Do not force any kind of a link. Do not stuff any kind of a keywords. Try to earn it naturally. Then we discussed about always improve the customer's user experience because it is very important. Avoid any kind of a manipulation or any kind of a manipulation tactics because it is of very risk for your business. Please do not try to cheat the customer. Your next point would be very transparent with the prices. Do not try to hide any hidden charges. So be transparent with the pricing. In funnel design, guide the users clearly. Make a very intuitive user interface. Do not force the user. Do not force any kind of a decision for the user. And always respect the user's choice because this is very important to implement. So, digital marketing, I'm going to tell you very clearly about what we have discussed today. Digital marketing is powerful, but with power comes responsibility. So, it is very important for digital marketers and brands to be very responsible. Ethical considerations protect the users, and strategic consideration protect the business. So, always think long term, be always data driven, always be prioritize the user focused, and mainly, and the last important point is to be trust centered. Try to win the trust of the audience. Try to win the trust of the customer and the user because ultimately that only works. So, students, we are done for today. We have come to the end of today's session. We have completed chapter 6 successfully, and I made sure that you all have understood the concepts of whatever we have discussed today. So, thank you, students, for being with me today. I hope you had a very good and informational session today. So, I wish you all the best in all your future endeavors. Thank you, students. Let us end today's session for today. Thank you. We are done with today's session.